Russia has to get out. We'll see. All options are open. Just so you understand, all options are open. Go ahead. All options are open, yeah.
We have a concrete question. What is the legal basis that the American side has to make such statements that have been made recently? On the 27th of March, during the meeting with the wife of Venezuelan opposition leader Mr. Guaido, the US President Donald Trump claimed that all options are open for the US to make Russia pull troops out from Venezuela. Vice President Mike Pence, who also attended the meeting, requested Russia, I'm quoting, to immediately stop providing any support to Maduro's regime and, together with other countries, to side with Mr. Guaido to restore the freedom of Venezuelan people. At the same time, in his remarks at congressional hearings, the U.S. Secretary of State, Mr. Pompeo, said bluntly that the U.S. strives for making President Maduro leave the political arena and for making Russia and Cuba cease influencing Venezuela. First, I would like to ask the aforementioned people a question. What legal basis was the groundwork for these statements? This is the question. Version A, it is international law. Version 2, it's American legislation. Version 3, it's some legal acts nobody knows about. Frankly speaking, it is not a rhetoric question. We would like to receive an answer to it. So, what legal basis was the groundwork for such statements? We go further. I would like to stress that Russian specialists and experts came to Venezuela in keeping with the provisions of a bilateral intergovernmental agreement about military and technical cooperation. It is a document that nobody tore down, nobody nullified. Russia breached nothing, neither international agreements nor Venezuela's domestic legislation. Russia doesn't shift the balance of forces in the region. Russia doesn't threaten anyone, unlike Washington, whose statements I have already cited. It is a fundamental policy line of the Russian Federation, and we strictly follow it. And we noted a sound statement made by the Lima Group that, I quote, condemns any provocations or military deployments that is a threat to peace and security in the region. The end of quote. Distinguished Latin Americans and Canadians, we fully share your view on this point. Provocation, nothing to say about military deployments, are not in line with international law. We support the call for all countries to contribute to seeking solutions to reestablish constitutional order in Venezuela. I speak about the need to stop the provocation activities of the self-avowed interim president that is undermining the legal groundwork, the legal basis of the Venezuelan statehood, and not to continue to stigmatize the legally elected presidents globally. As for the statements made by the Secretary of State and the President, we view them as an arrogant attempt to dictate to sovereign states, not even one. Well, it is in line with contemporary American diplomacy, but now we deal with the concrete case. So we see an attempt to dictate to sovereign states the way they should build relations between each other. I would like to remind you that in the ancient Rome, proconsuls were appointed to govern provinces. Neither Russia nor Venezuela are American provinces, and the Vienna Convention doesn't mention any proconsuls. So this is the deep differences between the states that comply with the norms of international law, and we are too many to enumerate all of them now, and a group of countries that invent excuses to justify a true large-scale interference into the domestic affairs of other countries. With regards to who, according to Washington, Russia must support in Venezuela, well, I would like to share Russia's position. Russia's position supports the legitimate authority, and in this phrase there are two key words. They are legitimate and authority. Legitimate. I speak about legitimate authorities because only the people of Venezuela can define the elected rulers in keeping with the provisions of the national constitution, not in keeping with the U.S. legislation. If there are some other ideas about that, we would like to specify that point. We have a concrete question. What is the legal basis that the American side has to make such statements that have been made recently? So the Venezuelan people has made this choice. If we speak about authority, there is no other authority apart from Mr. Maduro in Venezuela. Mr. Guaido can claim himself to be anyone. We have such cases both in history and in medicine, but we should look at real things that no other than Mr. Pompeo said about in another historical context. Mr. Guaido has no real authority wherever his wife can go. And incidentally, that was what the U.S. Special Representative for Venezuela, Mr. Abrams, said, and we cannot but agree with him. I'm not sure if Washington knows about his statements, but these other officials in Washington can read his statement, denying the government of Maduro in his right and responsibility to be the authority. Washington and its supporters deny the people of Venezuela to live in a state where there is authority here and now. And it seems that Washington motivates such solutions and ideas by the will of Venezuelan people. So, what authority does? It should provide state services, state protection and public order, and actions taken consecutively to destabilize the situation, to impose sanctions against financial, oil and gold mining sectors, to sow discord in the society, in the military, and attempts to provide humanitarian help forcibly. Subvertive actions against the energy system of the country. The other day, power lines came under another attack. That were the power lines of the Guri hydropower station. So this is the conscientious provoking of chaos, and as a result, no one can win in this situation. Do you, people in Washington, understand that? And in the context of Venezuela, do everyone understand the consequences of such deeds?
Please subscribe and click the bell.
The CIA is trying to have a coup in Venezuela. I haven't been watching since I've been here, so they might be doing it right now. And we should all be putting our voices out to stop the U.S. from having regime change for oil in Venezuela.
We must do everything we can to keep U.S. hands off Venezuela. You can find these links in the video description, or you can click here or at the end of this video. Use the YouTube tools to share this video. Share the link to this video with everyone you can to get the word out. Hands off Venezuela. And please subscribe and click the bell. Even subscribing and clicking the bell helps. And also check out this video from the Bolivian president, where he goes into detail about the wrongs of U.S. foreign policy. There's an annotation to this video around the end of this video. or in the video description.